Undertaker then controlled the beginning of the confrontation in a simple way and almost got hit by a sudden F5 blow from his violent opponent. But he got rid of that situation and tried to strike a fork slam that was unsuccessful. He appeared with them for a long time and entertained the fans with one of his historical movements when he carried out a footfall on Lenz at the edge of the ring. But Brock Lesnar then returned to control the confrontation through successive German suplex strikes on Undertaker and followed it with an F5 strike over the commentator's table. During his return to the ring to count on Undertaker outside the ring, but he managed to return with great difficulty at the 9th count. Lesnar was shocked by the situation that he did not expect to happen and began to curse Undertaker, threatening to kill him, to answer his opponent that he had to. After which he executed 2 shocks of Slam and Tombstone almost settled the confrontation to his advantage. Brock Lesnar then sat on the ring floor laughing to find Undertaker doing his sudden sitting in his legendary way. And Undertaker came close to resolving the fight in his favor after trying to install an evasion of it. Lesnar, who in turn tried to subdue his opponent with a Kimura lock move and followed it with 2 consecutive F5 strikes, did not guarantee him victory after a great steadfastness from Undertaker. He knocked. But the referee ordered him not to act on his own and that he was the person authorized to issue the order to knock him. Undertaker took advantage of the opportunity to be busy with the referee by talking to the bell official and made an illegal blow to Brock Lesnar, who was preoccupied with his victory. Continuing the fight, and upon television replays, it was revealed that Undertaker had announced his surrender by hitting Lesnar's foot. Facing Brock Lesnar at Hill and Asile, 2015. The human monster Brock Lesnar entered the ring surrounded by the Iron Dungeon on each side, eager to take revenge on his legendary rival, The Undertaker, who entered his majestic way during the cheers of the masses for him, and seemed determined to prove his legend and end the long feud with Lesnar and revenge for breaking his famous series of victories in WrestleMania, and closed the legend the door of the cell with his hand, which ignited the thirsty fans for this confrontation. Brock Lesnar and Undertaker exchanged sharp looks before the start of the confrontation with caution from both stars, who dropped him outside the ring. Then Undertaker launched strong successive strikes, taking advantage of the Iron Dungeon walls, and the Dead Man succeeded in shedding blood from the head of his stubborn opponent. What collapsed at the corner of the arena, with blood on his face, necessitated the intervention of a doctor to examine him. The doctor allowed the fiery confrontation to continue, and Lesnar completed his beating of his legendary opponent, who then regained control, dealing a violent blow to Brock's throat using the iron chair. He followed it up with an F5 knockout. But it wasn't enough to take down Undertaker. The doctor entered to check on Undertaker after a violent attack from his opponent, Lesnar, who did not allow it, and surprised him with another F5 strike and a new fixation attempt that also failed, forcing Lesnar to come down from the ring and grab her heavy metal tray and hit Undertaker with it in order to try to install a new one that was also completely unsuccessful. Lesnar would have dealt a fatal blow to that stair had it not been for the escape of the shopkeeper at the last moments. Brock Lesnar tried to repeat the attempt again, but Undertaker pushed him with his feet and dropped him to the ground and above him the metal stairs. That Lesnar eluded with great difficulty. Brock Lesnar got angry at that situation and tore the floor of the ring and revealed the tough layer in order to hit Undertaker over it in order to inflict the greatest possible harm on him. But the magic turned on the magician when The Undertaker took control of the situation and carried out the famous Tombstone strike over it, but it was not enough to overthrow the monster. The stubborn mortal who got up and settled the confrontation with an illegal kick below his belt and followed up with an F5 hit enabled him to establish the legendary Undertaker. After a strong match and the Undertaker's loss, they suddenly entered the Whites and attacked the legend, who was completely exhausted and was a great insult to the legend. The Wyatt Family Showdown at Survivor Series, 2015, on Raw on November 9, 2015. The Brothers of Destruction Kane and The Undertaker scored their comeback when they took down the entire Wyatt family, and it was announced that Undertaker and Kane would face the Wyatt family. And at Survivor Series 2015, Bray Wyatt chose himself and Luke Harper to face The Undertaker and Kane. And we managed to overthrow the monster Braun Strowman and smash the commentators' table after trying to interfere more than once. And the legendary Undertaker ended the confrontation by installing Luke Harper after Tombstone's historic strike and left the hall in a distinctive way, accompanied by Kane after standing in the ring alone for several minutes. His comeback and conflict with Shane McMahon, 2016. On the show Raw on February 29, 2016, The Undertaker returned and threatened Vince McMahon, saying, "You know, when he closed that door behind me at the Mailmania, you will know that your son's blood will be left."
وفي النهاية أرجو أن أكون قد أوصلت المعلومة بسهولة ويسر. لا تخرج قبل أن تشرفنا بوضع بصمتك. لا تخرج قبل أن تشرفنا بوضع بصمتك. ولكم مني جزيل الشكر والتقدير. في حفظ الله.